Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Life is Better with Music with Gavin and Mitchell. Before we get started today on all our beginning announcements, we do have a special guest. Finally, Kevin gets to join us today. We'll
Yeah.
we'll talk
About
more.
time.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him in just a second. But uh, as we always do, Hades updates. Um, Literally an hour ago, or probably about an hour 20 now, I finished part two. Sounds great. Mitchell hasn't even gotten to hear the full spin of it, of the rough draft at least. Not
Eh.
yet. Because my computer wasn't sharing the audio for it, but he'll hear it. I may post a clip of that. Just like 10 seconds somewhere. I don't know. Maybe Instagram, maybe TikTok. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I don't know if I'll do part one. We'll see. But besides for that, we are approaching uh, DCI finals quicker and quicker. So that means the pre-orders for the T-shirts that ends August 14th, the day after finals. So as we're hitting that mark, uh, time is running out. But this episode, we're gonna cover Kevin's background and Kevin's view on how the season's going and how he thinks the rest of the year will go. But Mitchell, I don't know if you realize this, but today I think marks almost the exact day of the halfway mark.
Does it really?
Yeah, I did my calculations last week, and we're we're within that little. This is the halfway mark of the season. You
It's
know,
all uphill from here still.
next week we have Texas tour,
Yeah, yeehaw.
and we love our Texas tour.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, technically, it's already technically started, I guess, because
Theory.
there's been what, one Texas show so far.
hmm
So, and then we have Oklahoma going on tonight. But enough about my spiel. Kevin, how about you introduce yourself to everybody?
Oh well, yeah. About time I'm on this show, I would say. For starters, my name is Kevin, and I'm an active. I was an active marcher out of Kentucky, and I mainly marched a lot in the KMEA scene, especially starting to grow up from like a middle school phase. My main area of anything is woodwind. In fact, I'm a clarinet player, and through marching and whatnot, I was able to compete in different semifinal circuits, different final circuits, and through symphonic and whatnot, participated in a lot of all region bands and a lot of all state kind of final round phases and whatnot. So I've definitely had a blast with going through that.
So, what makes you love drum corps? Because I've heard that you're a drum corps whiz, and not many woodwind. I'm not saying not all woodwind players, but I don't know many woodwind players that are crazy about drum corps. I know like a few personally. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing of why like drum corps is so appealing to me is with a lot of like marching arts and performative arts, that's one of the big ways you can like convey your raw energy and your like raw spirit when it comes to creativity. Just put it out there on the field. And with something like drum corps, that can be kind of presented either by like volume, by cleanliness, by whatever means necessary in what is essentially um, believing in a product and putting yourself out there as much as possible. And literally, as like directors and staff say, leaving it all out on the field every single night. And that sort of big reason with like the spirit is why I'm really into what drum corps offers as an organization, as a sport.
Yeah, I love how you said sport because I completely agree. I know lots of people don't, but when you think of sports, I know this is a whole different thing. Could be a whole nother episode on itself, but um, when you think of a sport, you have that competitive instinct in the organization. Well, what is Drum Corps International and Bands of America then?
Yeah.
It's the competition sport circuit, I guess you can call it.
Right.
But
WGI is sport of the arts.
exactly. Um, but now, Kevin, if you were to march drum corps, what would you march?
Ooh. Um, I've really been drawn to a lot of middle and bass sounds. Those are, even though being like a high woodwind, I love that like middle bass sound because when you think of the, pyramid of sound and how that functions, those low supports are by far the most integral pieces. To
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Building a chord, building a show, building what is essentially your sound in each chord sound. And I think being a part of that is so cool. And being a part of that like bass sound that has everything above it like set underneath is so cool to me.
So mellophone.
Yeah, mellophone and
Yeah.
mellophone, a lot of mellophone, and I've even thought about euphonium.
Oh, yo.
Yeah,
I love a good
you want to
euphonium.
have the Babylon solos. That's right.
Oh,
Get that out of here.
Get that out of here, Mitchell.
No, I'm joking. I'm
That
joking.
that
I
show
love-
deserved to win.
Oh, we're not gonna start that. We are not starting that because there is a whole laundry list of reasons that I have to disagree.
So Kevin, what are your thoughts on 2018?
all right.
Oh God,
So 2018.
we're talking BOA.
No, we're talking DCI.
Oh! I thought you were going down a completely different path.
I mean, I will say to like kind of point out Mitchell's thing. That was actually coincidentally the one year I marched Grand Nets at my high school for BOA, so that was a nice experience. But for DCI, I think overall 28 was actually a pretty big year for what shows and like what kind of ideas it had to offer. I was actually a very, very big fan of Dreams and Nighthawks.
Thank you.
That show.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
god! Get
Let's
out of my
go.
podcast!
Let's go.
Get out! Leave now!
We got it.
Hey,
We got it.
Babylon is really nice, but if there's anything I like to experience, is high intensity shows.
This is
And
facts.
I think Dreams and Nighthawks, with the way it kicked off, it presented itself as a high intensity product.
I am total
No.
agreement.
Mitchell, you can have that win because I know on the old podcast, everybody tore that show up.
Hey, except for one of them.
That's besides the point.
Moonwalk. Moonwalk.
Well, what about 2019?
Ooh,
Who do you think should have won?
that's a very strong point of contention because that's
Blue.
by far. I think
Coates.
No, Devils.
that is statistically the closest margin of victory in any DCI finals. I think that's definitely a very contentious point. And if I were to honestly pick one on the night, I would have to agree with the result that they went out with.
I don't agree. I will never agree with that. I just think because I think last episode we touched on this, Mitchell, that all the scores, almost in all of history, almost general effect is what won you the first place. Because Carmel did that in 2016 with Avon.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, Bluecoats gets it, and then everyone's expecting, oh, well, Bluecoats wins, and then
that came out of nowhere.
yeah. And honestly, I don't hate Ghostlight. I don't. I do not hate it. I hate Dreams and Nighthawks more.
Shame.
But watching Ghostlight, I didn't see a lot of clean visual that I saw in semis.
I get that, and I think a lot of like what I see with like Blue Devil show and how they kind of translate is, especially in like the mid to late teens, with like how they've written their shows. There's like a formula that they kind of go out with, the sort of music repertoire they go for, the sort of intensity they try to put out in their shows. And seeing Ghostlight, even though it has this like new face in comparison to past shows, kind of follow that like similar brand in some sense, it allowed for mistakes to pop out a little more in comparison to past shows. And one thing I did like about the Bluecoats is essentially how fresh of a product it kind of was.
Oh yeah,
I mean, to a lot of the past stuff.
Like compared to, because again with Bluecoats 2016 they won, then they dropped down to 5th place the next year. Session 44, great show, 3rd place, and then everyone expected, like I know almost everyone I talked to that night like expected like Bluecoats to win, and then when the score came out, everyone's like, yeah, I can see why, like, and the thing is, I watched the results those 2 years in a row. And in 2018, I don't know if it happened on anyone else's end, but flow marching lagged, so it was announcing third place. Oh no, like it skipped over like third place or something. I don't even know what happened. But then it said like first place and lagged and said the Bluecoats, and it was like, so we thought session 44 won. Isaac and I thought session 44 won, and then we're like, wait a minute, there's still more scores being announced.
It's like how there's a zeroth place. There's an honorary mention.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I thought they won, and then him and I checked the scores and like, nope, they're third, and it's like, then the next year we hear the blue coats.
Yeah.
And I remember being heartbroken because I loved that show for Blue Coats that year. 2021, how they did a part 2, not my thing.
Nope.
But,
yeah.
And then this year, it's grown on me a little bit after seeing it in person in Mason, but I'm still not all about it.
No.
I'm like very iffy on this year's directions with their Blue Coat show because it seems to have a very like strong narrative of it trying to create, but it's trying very hard to just sell the idea instead of sell the repertoire and book itself. Because I'll be honest, there's definitely harder books.
Oh yeah,
presented by other courts this season.
And this is what Mitchell and I said, how they're going for a simple book, but they're going all out general effect. Like we saw how that happened for them last time. We saw what happened last time. 2019. Do you want that to happen again?
And it can very easily.
But honestly, Mitchell and I said earlier, and how we think finals top 4 may look, and I mean, right now we're thinking Devils, Vanguard, Boston, and Blue are tottering. Oh wait, no, Devils. Devils, Vanguard.
No, it's Devils and Crown.
Devils Crown, yeah, my bad. Devils Crown, Blue, and Boston teetering there. And Vanguard in that mix, too, because they're not going to put Vanguard out of 4th, I don't think. Yeah. But, like, the first out of medal and last medal are those 3 cores.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have, like, a idea personally that you think may happen, but...
Right now, in this middle point compared to past middle points of the season, what I'm liking a lot about this season is that I feel like for some reason there's a few more names to think about in the table than there are in past seasons, and especially with cores like Crown, who had like not a good start to the season, but not like Crown-esque. Not like what people may know them for, and then they put a lot of work, on the lot, and it showed off. We're essentially shooting themselves in the title conversation. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of work. I've heard of a lot of work there. There's a lot of work that's going on in Boston with what they're doing, and results-wise, this is looking to be for sure their like best ever season they posted. And
yeah,
definitely. In like a title conversation. I see your face, Mitchell. I saw the face you're putting out there.
He just hates the fact that Boston, my core, is better than Cadets.
We don't know that yet.
Oh no, we know that.
Who knows, dude? All I'm saying is we are gonna be when we're at DCI Denton, we're gonna be off 3 rehearsal days and a free day, so we're gonna be well rested.
Well. So my thing is, Kevin, it's funny because earlier today, he said roughly top 5. He didn't throw Cadets in there.
I think Cadets can shoot themselves in that conversation. I think
they're just on the edge.
I don't think top 3.
No, I don't think top 3.
No, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Top 5, very possible, but I think they're going to end up 6th.
And I'm fine with that. That's top half.
I mean, when you think about it, one of Devils, Boston, Crown, Vanguard, Coats. I'm trying to think of anyone else. I previously would have been Cavs, but it's sad to see what happened with the COVID situation.
We got to talk
Oh, yeah.
about that as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Because I don't
to
really
get
agree
into
with
top
it.
5, beating 1 of 5 of Devils, Coats, Crown, Vanguard, and Boston, it's doable, but it's going to be a challenge.
I think the most likely outcome is if we break into top 5, I think we get it over Vanguard.
I don't think that.
Either
I
that
would.
or Coates.
Well, honestly, like I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know,
think
dude.
it's all up in the air. But I don't think just with how the cores are.
Right.
I love my cadets all except for that right foot step off. But
It's not that bad.
I think that I don't think cadets are gonna get top 5.
I don't know, dude. We'll see.
I think this year would be a pretty insane year to get top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's just like I'm not cadets have more time to grow. It could change like maybe 3/4 of the way through the season while we hit these bigger DCI regional shows. My mind will change, but I'm thinking it's gonna be Devil like the top 5 like and not I don't know the order, but like Devils, Crown, Coats, Vanguard, Boston.
Right.
Like
That's
I mean
fine.
cadets could throw it in there, take Boston, Coats or Vanguard out, but I don't see Crown or Devils dropping. They're like kind of guaranteed up there.
I could agree. I don't know
Yeah.
about the Boston. I don't know about the Boston. I really think that if we break into top 5, it's ahead of either Coates or Vanguard.
Yeah, because without having my bias in here as a Boston Crusader, I could see Boston at least like possibly could medal.
I think they have a good shot at medaling.
I think right now
It's either third or fourth.
They're definitely on a great trajectory tonight, and they're
Oh,
on
yeah.
a great momentum piece.
Almost
And as long as we don't drop that and have like too many like or just performances canceled, because again that's what happened in 2019. And I said this to Mitchell and mentioned this in other podcast episodes is Boston beat Crown at Crown Beat. Then they were supposed to compete in Orlando, and Orlando got rained out, and they were on trajectory, you know what I mean, to score above them again. And then as soon as the next performance happened, it flipped back.
Right.
And it's just like, what if that Orlando performance happened? How would the scores go from there on? Because, every score has something to play with another score.
And
you can't deny that.
And
No.
even then, it's like it's a way of how a course season shapes, and even then, every like winning moment and every winning score is like that's a mentality booster. And sometimes that like sort of mentality booster is what drives the members to push forward and forward.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So now let's talk about bottom half of finals here, Kevin.
Alrighty.
I think last week was our finals bubble episode, correct, Mitchell?
Yes.
Where we talked a lot about the finals bubble. And now that we have seen a couple more performances from Troopers and even more of these cores. I mean, Mitchell and I think, basically bottom half of finals, first 3 out is like a blender, like
Yeah. I really think so.
Dart at a map board or something like.
Okay, my thoughts are I think it's going to be either Cadets or Blue Stars in 6th or 7th. Mandy's, Phantom. And, I'm going to be honest, on any time, any other year, I really strongly think that Phantom would be higher up. But again, this is just such a big year with everyone bringing the heat, including Phantom. I love Phantom this year, don't get me wrong. But I can't see them cracking above, 8th or 9th just because of the stacked. That's just my thoughts. And then I think Cavies is still in finals. And I think that after that, I think it's kind of a crapshoot because you have Blue Stars, you have Colts, or not Blue Stars, I lied. Blue Knights, I'm sorry. Bleh, words. Blue Knights, Colts, Troopers. Um, who else am I missing?
Not gonna lie, a world without Blue Knights in finals is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you have that Blue Stars and Blue Knights little. They never had anyone between them, basically.
Right.
So it's like you kind of keep them together, but now it's like. Whew.
I mean, as of right now, I'm pulling up the scores right now. You have Crossman out at 13, and they're only a point and a half, or they're only 0.7 behind Blue Knights at 76.6 and 12th. So, Crossman and Blue Knights are still fighting for it. And you have Colts ahead of them both by almost a point. Colts ahead of Blue Knights by almost a point.
Mm-hmm.
Troopers is still in striking distance. I don't know about Scouts because that's where you get iffy. And then Music City, and then Academy, and then Crest and Jerf. I think we can safely eliminate Jerf from being finalists. I think that's a pretty consensual vote here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say
I think Crest is out.
It's a fun product what Jerf is doing, but
Yeah.
I don't think
No.
if with the path they're going, I don't think it would be like finals ready.
Crest, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna call out, but don't get me wrong, I still love the show. Like that is hands down one of my favorite shows this year. Academy, there has to be a lot of cleaning, to even try to get back into the bubble. And I think Music City is right there too. I think they've definitely come out stronger with what they're doing from past years, and I like that. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the future for them. No one expected them to come out of COVID and say, "Hey, we're gonna be finalists," and that's okay. I just don't think that that's in the cards this year for them.
I think one more thing to say about Music City, even if they don't make finals this year, I think overall it's been an up year altogether for me.
Oh, most definitely. I totally agree.
I think for probably a few years to come, especially I know with your experience and you meeting some of the staff there, you've called them some of the best staff you've ever met in terms of
I really enjoy the staff.
And I think even if they don't make finals this year, it's a massive step up into the caliber of product that they can put out and just kind of working as this higher level core than they have in past years.
Oh, I totally agree. I don't disagree there. I think that they're going to set the foundation for this year, and I think they're going to make a push next year. Because others outside of that, I don't see. Scouts is ahead of them. I don't know if I can feasibly see Scouts in this year. I don't know. I don't know, dude. This is crazy. I
think Scouts are in a similar bubble to the previous two you mentioned, Academy and Music City, in that to have a shot, there's going to have to be a lot of emphasis on cleaning up. A lot of emphasis on the small stuff. That's what the cores right above them are honestly at this point doing right now.
Yeah, Scouts.
As we're seeing, and as you mentioned before, it's going to be down to a difference of margins.
All I'm saying is Troopers are going up at least a point or almost about a point every show.
After the start that Troopers has, I'm honestly a little surprised and a little happy to see that. Because Troopers at first started off a little rough with their opening show and how they placed around other stuff. They quickly got their feet up.
Well, yeah, they jumped Academy. Let's talk about this Cavi situation. So I was reading that they were slotted in the top 12 for San Antonio. And the slotting kind of put a couple cores who were on the bubble. It kind of put them before an intermission, and not with the rest of the top 12. And I don't think that's what DCI's rule was. I thought it was the score based on the last score of the last performance. So I don't know. There's a lot of people in the community that are kind of up in arms about it, but we'll see. They just put out an 80 last night, so.
Yeah, I think overall, I think all of us can agree. We could talk about this for hours, but I think overall we can agree that finals bubble is still just as nuts, and it probably will continue to be that way until we get closer and closer to finals in just a couple weeks. And again, we're at halfway mark, like I said, and next week we have Texas tour, so we'll have a lot of cores throughout Texas, and scores will kind of start getting evened out. They got the polishing stone down there, and then we'll have more regionals coming along, and then boom, we're in Indy.
Yeah,
so
and San Antonio will absolutely be like a nice leveler in trying to get everything up to pace, get everything together, kind of give all fans, all members sort of perspective. And I mean, this season, first season back from COVID. I mean, when was the last time you could say numerically Cavs and Phantom were neck and neck?
You can't.
A very long time. And that's the case. Just everything's different this year. I mean, you have people don't expect Boston to be as good as they are this year, but we're coming out like a powerhouse, and you have Knights maybe dropping out of finals, and you have people who have almost like never seen finals coming to finals. Like who knows? But we're running out of time here for you, Kevin. So I do appreciate your 4 cents on the season so far, and a little bit about your background, and hopefully we can have you on for another episode. We'd love to have you back. But besides for that, I hope everyone enjoyed Kevin being here, and any closing thoughts for you, Kevin, before you peace out?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me on. I mean, any final thoughts? I'm enjoying the craziness this season. I really am, and so I'm hoping to see more of it. And I'm hoping, for just a good second half of the season, as good of a first half I've been seeing. A lot of like new stuff coming to the board, a lot of young cores, a lot of new minds, and it might be a new age.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for joining us today, Kevin, and you can go ahead and peace on out.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, welcome back, guys. So that was Kevin, our first special guest on the show, and we'd like to remind you guys that if you want to be a special guest, to go onto the website, go to the contact tab, and go fill out the arts community form, and you'll get email back from us, and then we'll schedule an episode for you to be on. So for this week, you heard me mention earlier, this is the halfway mark, basically. We're within a day, I think, of the halfway mark, or even today is the halfway mark. I'm not sure, but we are here. But before we get into all of our scores from the last week, Mitchell has some big news about Bands of America as we approach that season. So you said that you have our Grand Nats lineup?
I do have our Grand Nats lineup. I have every show's lineup that BOA just posted today, a couple hours ago, and there are some surprises. Specifically, Indy Super, Camdenton High School from Missouri, and a former Grand National finalist, Kennesaw Mountain from Georgia, are going to Indy Super. Big news. Never saw that. And I am in touch with a lot of people. I know a lot of people. I know a guy who knows a guy. I know the guy.
Who knows a guy?
I know the guy. I got the guy. I got the plug. So, yeah, big things. And I found out something that I probably should have known, but I didn't, because I was stupid and did not look at my own band's calendar. But the Pride of Westfield is now scheduled to compete at the BOA Indy Super in addition to BOA Louisville.
Look at that. You got 2 BOA competitions.
Maybe. Depends on if I can make it up for Friday night. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see, but at
You
least you
know,
get one.
I get one for sure, and I've already cleared my calendar off for October 1st at BOA Louisville with Carmel, Brownsburg, Centerville, Westfield, and the whole strong Kentucky contingent. So
So who? Let's see our uh our our Grand Nats lineup.
okay, let me pull that up.
I need to hear who's going.
So, um, I'll give you some that. Would you like the entire list, or would you just like the ones that I see as potential finalists?
The finalist ones. We'll
So,
dive deeper into the list probably another episode.
American Fork from Utah is always on the edge. Avon from Indiana, no shock there. Broken Arrow, they're the
The
defending
defending
Randall.
champions.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin's sitting in Broken Arrow right now watching drum corps. I'm sad. Uh, Brownsburg, Indiana, who has been coming on really strong as the past couple of years, and I see is in finals this year for the first time in their program history. Carmel, who no explanation needed, should be a safe bet to see in finals on Saturday night.
I hope
Castle, oh, get out of here.
not.
Castle High School from Indiana, another recent finalist. Center Grove, who's had an off year past couple of years, but I think they can come back and maybe be a little stronger. Centerville from Ohio. Let's see. Dobbins Bennett, who made finals last year. Fishers, who's a really strong Indiana band, has been on the edge of finals the past couple of years, like less than a point off. Let's see. Homestead High School from Indiana.
No Tarpon.
We don't know yet. I'm looking at that list. Hold on. Lincoln Way
Okay.
Community High School from Illinois, who's been really strong. Marion Catholic, the program who's won 7 Grand National Championships.
Heck yeah.
Carmel is 5. We're catching up to them. Hee hee ha ha.
Never.
Miamisburg High School from Ohio. Mo and Gene Johnson High School from Texas, who just opened in like 18, but already won a regional in Texas last year. First time. They're a strong program. Murray High School from Kentucky, your defending 1A champion. Mustang High School from Oklahoma, the Shark Show last year and the Dinosaur Show from 19. Love that. Love that show. Love those shows. O'Fallon Township, who made finals in 18. Prosper, who made finals in 18. Hendrickson from Texas, who's a strong Texas program. Rosemount from Minnesota. Southlake Carroll from Texas, who's a strong Texas program. Tarpon is on the list. William Mason.
Yeah.
And that's my list of potential finalists. So
And we're going to Grand Nats, just like we are.
we are going to Grand Nats, so we get a couple runs in the dome.
I literally got I got that off the other day. I called my supervisor, so I'm all good.
We're going Nats. We're going Nats.
So we'll be in Nats if you guys happen to run into us. But let's get into what we're really here to talk about. Let's get into this, Mitchell. We are here to talk drum corps, and is the okay. I'm trying to get rid of the box. Is the box gone?
No.
Come on. Why do I always have to have problems? There we go. It
Yes.
should be gone in a second. Is it good now? Okay. So, shows that are going on today. We got Broken Arrow, of course. We probably won't get Broken Arrow scores, but we might be able to get Lawton scores, because we should be getting them, in the next 40 minutes, roughly. So we'll probably get to talk about those ones, but probably not Broken Arrow. We don't have much to talk about this week besides this is the halfway point. We really talked about all of our ideas and thoughts on the halfway point with Kevin. So we're more just going to be diving into the scores and some clips and talking about Texas Tour next week.
Yeehaw.
So, next episode is going to be focused on Texas Tour, since that's all we're going to have, basically, is Texas scores. So, let's start right up here. I don't Okay, let me actually grab my order here so I do these shows in order because I don't want to do them out of order. Probably should have had that up already, but that's my bad. Takes me 2 seconds on the Drum Corps International website. So, we did talk about the Powder Springs, Georgia show. So the first one we have today is Ogden. Wherever that is on my... Yeah, right here. So this was a Devils win. Santa Clara Vanguard, 2 points exactly underneath. And that's making me think that, Devils or Vanguard is a possible kick out from top 4. Obviously we're only halfway, but still. And this was about a week ago, this score. So obviously the score's gone up, but just from that score, that's kind of how my mind would work. And Troopers breaking a 70 in their, first week of performances. So that's awesome for them. And you have Blue Knights behind Mandarins by 4 points. So that's pretty insane. And then we have Colombians on top of open class down there. So, Ogden, pretty much how I would expect it. But, I would used to think that Blue Knights would be on top of Mandarins, but not that night.
Heard that night.
And then we have, I don't want to mispronounce this.
Which one?
This one.
Oh, Eau Claire.
Eau Claire, okay.
Eau Claire,
So,
yeah.
We got Phantom sadly below Blue Stars.
Man.
I'm rooting for Phantom, man. I want Phantom to get in the top 8. And then the Colts though behind them 4 points. So Phantom, they have to be up there.
Yeah.
If Colts is one of the groups that we throw in the finals bubble like that. We took out Creston Jerf earlier. So they still have a chance of getting up in there. So
who knows?
River City Rhythm on top of Colt Cadets. And then Madison Scouts, didn't even address that. 3 points under Colt. So Madison Scouts, it might be, if they're still scoring like that in a week, I think they're kicked out of finals bubble.
Who knows? We'll see.
I don't see Madison making finals personally. I see another underdog making it in. Oh yeah, I love this score. We got Boston 84 on the dot. Cadets 81 450, and it's so funny. You guys obviously don't see our conversations off the podcast, but I don't know what day it was, but you either called me or texted me, and you're like, "We're coming for you." The next night, we went right back up.
I don't like the up and down because one judge panel loves it and brings us closer to them, and then one judge panel just doesn't, and it's like, wow.
I think again, Texas Tour, I think, is gonna clean some rough patches out. But I don't think it's gonna get fully clean until we have DCI Atlanta, DCI Allentown, DCI Akron, have all these shows that really build the foundation to drum corps scoring, building up into world championships. So, we'll see. But then, Cadets, you're safe from Crossman.
Yeah.
In Music City, so you have nothing to worry about there. And
no, I think we're safely in.
Louisiana Stars is perfectly fine. I think they were the only score that night for open class, if I'm not mistaken. We go right on into, I think this is Wyoming. This is Wyoming. No scores. I think rained
the weather
out, probably. Yeah.
The weather. It was just it was not great.
So no scores here, sadly. But I mean, hey, look, it says that the Academy won.
Good for them.
I know, right? They're the next world champions.
Ah, true. So true.
The year I see like Colts like win a world championship, if that like happens,
Right.
I think that's gonna be like no, I think the day I see Heatwave win a world championship.
Woo! Heat wave.
And I no hate the Heatwave. We love
Florida
Heatwave.
core. Florida core.
Steven was in Heatwave. And I love Steven. He marches with Boston as a trumpet player. If you look on the Boston Facebook, they do their daily schedule, and he always comments about the weather. That's Steven.
Oh my god.
If you go on Facebook, he updates everybody on the weather. Don't worry on that one.
Oh god.
Then we have Riverside Open, so mainly all your open class scores. Honestly, not really surprised with this one. I mean, you have Blue Devils B on top of Columbians by 4 points. Little more than 4 points.
Yeah.
But could you imagine, like, if Blue Devils B got made like a world class score? You have Blue Devils and then Blue Devils B. In one time, and just at some point in life, like if that ever happened in the universe, they somehow became a world class, and then top 2 is between Blue Devils and Blue Devils B.
That would not be fair.
And then Blue Devils B won.
That'd be criminal.
Well, then you throw Blue Devils C in there too. You never know. I mean, it's their feeder core, so I mean. They're popping out a 68, so who knows? And what we discussed that the scoring system's not different anymore, isn't it?
No, it's not.
So
They'd be ahead of Jerf. I know that. Just based on scores.
another open class show, the Gold Showcase. Vanguard Cadets on top of Blue Devils B, so sorry Blue Devils B. But they both broke a 71.
Right. That's solid.
And they're only about 0.5 away from each other.
Right.
That's not bad. And
no.
I'm just looking at these scores. About the same thing, but you throw Vanguard Cadets on top. So again, I love their Vanguard Cadets uniforms this year.
I do too.
A lot more than the Nirvana ones.
Yeah.
This is Fort Collins. Blue Devils out here with an 85.95. So, I mean, if you round that up by, they're closer to 90 than they are 80. So they're getting up there.
Can we see them push the highest score?
Is the highest score still Flinius?
I think so.
Because honestly, this would be like with how much craziness there is this year.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
It would have to be Devils who would probably do it. I don't see like Boston or Crown coming out and beating Fliniesque like that.
No.
I think Devils would have to kind of beat their own score. And what was Fliniesque's score? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not.
Wasn't it like a 99 something?
Yes. Let's see. Highest DCI score ever. 99.65.
Almost a perfect. If you round that up, that's perfect. Like, I mean,
right.
So that can you imagine the year we actually see like 100?
No, it's not gonna happen.
Or like 99.9. I think I would be so upset if I was in a core that got scored a 99.9. Because it's like, oh, come on. Who ticked?
Right.
Who did it? Like, who did it? Who took that from us?
Who ruined it?
I just don't think any judge would ever let that happen, though.
No, no, you shouldn't.
That'd be insane.
It'd be
But look
insane,
at,
but no, thank you.
I mean, look at Mandarins. I mean, I know that's still like a 4 point score gap, but I mean, they're up there and they're 4 points ahead of Blue Knights, and
Mhm.
Troopers are right behind Blue Knights by 3. Like
Mhm.
Blue, I think Blue Knights is. I think if anyone's out, Blue Knights.
I do too.
And it's funny because at the start of the season, I was saying Phantom or Crossman, but
Mhm.
now I'm thinking Crossman or Blue Knights.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I would never have expected it to be Blue Knights.
No.
Usually they're safe in their little pocket up there with Blue Stars, but
Mhm.
not this year. I mean, right after
Man.
Troopers, you have Academy, and then Genesis is 5 points behind that. But it's
Yeah.
gonna be weird. Kevin said it, but it's gonna be weird if Blue Knights isn't in finals.
Yeah.
It's the least, not the least, but it's not in my top 5 I've expected.
You're totally right.
Like, I would never even have said, like, oh, I think Blue Knights is going to be out.
Right.
Like, so,
I would never.
I mean, who knows? It could just end up being the same group, but I think it'd be cool to stir the pot, so.
Oh, I do too.
Then we have Whitewater. There it is. Blue Coats on 85 on the dot. We got Blue Stars 81. 1-5, and then Phantom under. I think that COVID break for Phantom really messed it up for him.
I do too.
Like they had the momentum, they were going, and then just now they're gonna be under Blue Stars the rest of the season.
Right.
I don't like Blue Stars show personally. I like Phantom so much more,
I do too.
and I think Phantom sounds better.
I could get behind that.
Personally, I think they sound better. Like we saw that warm up clip last week.
Right.
I mean, that's just a warm up clip, but like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what you sound like in warm up, and you can apply that to the field,
Oh yeah.
you're spitting out some fire.
Yeah.
Then we have Memphis Crown at an 86.1, and Boston behind them by just 0.4. Like that, I mean, that's still a close score. And then
Yeah.
Cadets.
That's what drives me crazy. You have a 2.5 point gap that just jumps a whole point, and it's like, are you for real right now?
I don't know what's going on, man. I think people are just hating on Cadets this year.
They are.
I mean,
They really
I do
are.
too. I do too, but it's just to get under your skin.
Yeah. No, they're putting out fire this year, and it's just really just crazy to me that I think this show is better than what it's scoring right now. But there's still a lot of season left, and as of recording this, their next show is in Denton on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be fresh off of 3 rehearsal days and a free day. So we'll see if they clean stuff up.
Watch, they'll be the first one to break a 90 somehow.
Oh God.
Cadets win, like.
I would cry.
And I mean, again, you're still safe from Crossman, and I think Music City's slowly creeping up there. But I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. I like Music City show. I just don't like all the turns. That's about it.
No, that's not my
Then we have Bellflower, another open class show. Lots of open class shows this week. Vanguard Cadets still above Blue Devils. Blue Devils B didn't really move that much. Because they were both a 71 the last score. Vanguard Cadets went up to 72, so they made a lot of progress. I mean, for them, like open class scores, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm not noticing anything really different about the other groups besides just like a slow increase. And that's always good. You always want to make progress. That's the point. Every score you want to make progress. You never want to fall backwards. And Because if you fall backwards, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Then we have, I think this is Kansas, right?
Olathe, yeah.
Um, Still the Blue Stars Phantom thing. I think Phantom should be above Blue Stars.
Well, let's talk about this. This is the first time in like 40 years that Blue Stars has beaten Cabbies. I saw that.
Oh my lord! Yeah, I didn't even notice that. And Phantom and Cabby's tied.
Mm-hmm.
When I think you said this earlier. When in any universe would you expect again, or even just anywhere close, Phantom and Cabby's tying,
Mm-hmm.
and Blue Stars being above the Cavaliers?
Right.
I mean, I know like didn't they have that break?
Mm-hmm.
I know they had a break. The same thing happened to Phantom, but like
Yeah.
Cabby's, you pushing bottom of top 8.
Ayo.
I mean, anything's gonna happen this year. I think the only safe cores that are up there are again Devils, Vanguard, Coats, Crown, Boston, and Cadets.
I think so too.
That's the top 6 safe. Unless Cabbies or somebody pushes up in the top 6 and kicks somebody out. But I think that is a safe bet. That's top 6.
I agree.
And I think in a couple weeks, when we're there in the stadium and we're watching them and I hear these scores come out, like for prelim, semis, and everything, I'm going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I know that night we're going to be on the edge of our seats when we hear finals announcements.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to vlog our reaction because that's going to be a reaction you can never see again. Like, like I'm terrified. I'm going to be honest.
I am too.
And Madison Scouts are 4 points behind Colts. But look at that. Colts are just 3 points behind Cabbies.
Right.
So, what I said about Colts earlier, I mean, look at this score. Like, this is a completely different... I mean, that's a 3-point gap is a huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you think about it, Boston and Cadets have a huge 3-point gap, but that's not a huge gap.
No.
Like, in context, that's not a huge gap.
Yeah, it's not.
Like, so when you have Colts and Cabbies sitting like that, and Phantom, they're tied. So when you have Colts sitting right under that, like, I mean, they could still sneak their way in. Like, I don't think they could get 11th, but if they do get into finals, they'll be 12th. Like, I mean, I don't see them going any higher if they do, but
Right.
I never know. Like, this year is crazy score-wise. I mean, anything's going to happen at this point.
Oh, definitely.
Who knows? Phantom will win world championship somehow. I don't even know.
Who knows?
Canyon, this is the last one that we have like officially posted, unless we get the scores from tonight, which is Broken Arrow and
Oh, God. I forget it.
I have it. Broken Arrow and Lawton.
Lawton. Okay, that's right.
So
Actually, you know what? Speaking of the devil, I'm going to look and just double check when the Lawton scores are going to be released.
Okay.
Because it's almost, we might be, yeah, we get scores for that in 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, then perfect. So this is another Texas show. We got all our group over there. Mandarins above Blue Knights. So I mean, I feel like if anyone pushes into top 6, it could be Mandarins. Like, if they keep performing and they keep increasing, it's a possibility.
Who knows?
I don't know if it's 100%, but I think at least could push into 8th or 7th. Like, I mean, with how Cavies just, scored with those last scores, I mean...
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rooting for Mandarins. I love Mandarins. Like, ever since, I think, 2018?
Yeah.
I've been rooting for them just as much as I was for Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But my rooting for Spirit was to make finals, and if Spirit does field the core next year, finals bubble gets even crazier if they're performing how they were before they have taken the
Right.
break.
Who knows?
And so I have no clue anymore. Like this is just all like Troopers are 2 points behind Blue Knights, and then it's basically 2 points all the way down until Genesis, and then Guardians was the only open class that night. But like Troopers, like you said, are moving up a point almost every performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's
Who knows?
that's good progress, if you
Who
kept doing that.
knows?
If you kept doing that, like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna jump on up there. But I mean, with all these scores, as of today, before the shows of tonight, we have our overall rankings. So I hate that they don't have them most recent. They have them averaged in that order. But on top is Crown, right? Yeah, Crown.
Yeah.
Then we
Crown
got
is.
Devils, and then Boston, and then Coats. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Boston's still top three. I don't think that changed from last week. They were third last week too.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's great for Boston heading into
Oh, definitely.
Texas tour halfway through the season at third. And I mean, no one's expected it, but you never know.
Who knows?
Boston could be a medalist this year, and everyone's like, "Oh, Boston's not going to medal." Well, even if we go up 2 placements, that's kind of a medal to us. Like,
Oh, totally.
so that's the insane thing. But, and then it kind of goes down, and it's just crazy as we get down. We have Phantom and Cavies still tied here. We have Cadets right under Blue Stars, which is a surprise to me.
Cadets also
and
haven't performed in a couple days, and Stars just performed last night.
yeah, and Mandarins were like right behind that. Then we have our bottom area. We got Danger Zone here, and basically all of them are 70s. But I
Right.
think we've taken Crest and Surf out.
I think so, unfortunately.
Most definitely. We have then, like all these close scores right here, and that's just, we have Cavi or not Cavies, Music City and Academy right next to each other. Madison Scouts, creeping on Troopers creeping up on the Crossmen, but then they have Colts in finals, and Blue Knights.
Who knows?
Like Blue Knights seem to be the bottom of finals, so who knows anymore? Who knows? We're gonna get into these videos just really quick. We have a Blue Stars warm up.
It's Lovey and Rose.
Oh yeah.
So I love Love and Rose. Love and Rose is one of my favorite pieces, and I love when a band brings it to the marching field or core.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Blue Stars core song.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2019 on the BOA scene, Round Rock from Texas brought it, and I really love Love and Rose. It's just one of my favorite pieces of music that I've ever heard. And I almost auditioned for Blue Stars because they have a camp in Indy. They do their camps in Indy, so it would be real close. But I still love the Blue Stars. I have a lot of friends in Blue Stars actually. So, but yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at this Trooper clip. Because, I mean, we've been talking a lot about Troopers, like... I really like the... Huh?
Cello. That's a cello.
I know. It reminds me of the Ghostlight, violin. Awesome. I know we're jumping through these videos here right now, but I mean we've basically covered everything we really have to cover today, so we're just kind of watching these clips really quick, and we have Genesis. I'm really liking
I like the
motion
uniforms.
of this
Yeah,
here.
I like the uniforms.
They kind of look like Crossman's.
Yeah. Not hating on Crossman's uniform though. I love them.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Isn't there a show like about Alice in the Wonderland or something?
I think so.
Or
I'm not sure.
Or what's it called? Wizard of Oz.
I think so.
We got Colombians. Okay. So two of these clips are actually like kind of just a tune. We have Madison Scouts, they did like a tune. Phantom Regiment did a tune. So we're gonna take a look at this Vanguard clip real quick. Again, I'm not a fan of those uniforms. Okay. So there was three more clips that I was gonna want us to take a look at, but one of them was Music City, as you can see right here. We've seen Music City, we watched it in person. We've seen a lot of clips of Music City, so we won't watch that clip tonight. And this Phantom Regiment tune and this Madison Scouts tune, I think it's just like them playing literally.
It's an encore, yeah.
Yeah, an encore. And if you want to watch that, you can go literally almost anywhere and watch it. I know a couple Instagram accounts and Facebook have it. But besides for that, I mean, for us today, we have really almost nothing else to cover. We had our first special guest today. I know tonight seems very quick, very fast-paced. But, I mean, we're just excited. Like, halfway through the season.
I'm excited.
I mean, this last week was mainly an open class week, and reality, like, this is kind of a week for a lot of corps to take a break. Like, a lot of corps are either just rehearsing or like having a break and
show,
traveling
maybe
traveling down to Texas.
Yeah
So I mean, Texas tour this next week, we've talked about it's going to kind of even the playing field for everybody, and next week we're going to dive into that. We're going to look at all of these Texas shows, and we'll probably even compare the shows that we have from like the Texas performance that we had from the other night and Oklahoma tonight. So, I mean, next week's going to be a fun week. We're going to dive into Texas tour as we leave our halfway mark. But, I mean, do we have any scores or?
Oh boy, let's check. Let's go quick. Let's go fast. Ka-chow.
While he looks for that, make sure if you want your t-shirts.
We do not.
Okay, no scores. That sucks.
Yeah.
Literally probably in 20, 30 minutes we'll have it, but we'll cover those next episode. The Broken Arrow and the Lawton scores. But, again, t-shirts end August 14th. The pre-orders at least. So if you want to get those shirts, they end the day after finals for pre-order, and then they'll be opened up to general purchase like in October or something like that. But besides for that, thank you everyone for joining us this week. I know it was very fast-paced, but we're excited. Not much to cover this week. We had a special guest, and we talked a lot with him about how the season's going and how we think it's going to continue to progress. But besides for that, thanks for joining in this week, and catch us next week for Texas Tour, and peace out.